Hello and welcome to Talking About Podcast where we talk about anything and everything. um, this is the second episode now with video, which is super cool because I've yet to upload the first video, but fingers crossed it worked. Um, I've recorded a lot of episodes since then. Since the last episode is released, which was the Honesty with Myself episode. The episode where I sat here and cried over what I wrote in a journal that I'm working on and have been working on. Because Hello. Because I'm realizing that I need forgiveness in my life, and I'm not sure why, but my microphone keeps turning off, and it keeps muting myself. So I'm kind of paying more attention to my computer than the actual video, which is kind of upsetting because the point of the video is for me to have a connection and for me to be more personable. Because at this point, I am just a person with a microphone in my hand. But we are going to kind of delve into what I want to talk about, and that is forgiveness. And I know I've been preaching a lot about God and my relationship with God and how I've been trying to pretty much heal myself and build myself back up after, a bad breakup, just a really shitty time in my life. And I say this as somebody who still has a roof over my head and a job and everything in this economy and market and everything. But continuing, um, I'm going to forgive my mom. And it's something I've been kind of wrestling with for a little bit now. I've been talking about it and I've been thinking it through with a lot of people. And I have what I am going to write her written on my computer right now. And oh, peep the lobster tattoo for all the people watching the videos. It looks super crooked right now. It's only because I got fat. But it is genuinely the coolest piece of art I have on my body. Lobsters are really cool. I'll have to talk more about all my tattoos and what they mean to me because they're actually really fucking dope and they're not just little drawings on my skin. Continuing, I have a very strong opinion about tattoos. As somebody who has 12. But um, continuing with that, I want to forgive my mom. And not because it comes from a place of selfishness. Granted, me forgiving my mom is kind of selfish. Me having the anger towards my mom and the bitterness towards my mom has really been fucking with my head and fucking with me. And it's been hard because I hold on to these emotions and this hatred and I turn the hatred inward. Like I said before. Excuse me. I've been drinking ginger ale, so I'm a little airy. But yeah, I've been holding on to this bitterness in my life and this anger, and I'm wanting to let it go because it needs to be let go of. And um, one of the reasons why I feel the need to do it is so I can know that I'm the bigger person. And when I was little, and we used to have custody battles, and I used to have to sit in court and deal with all this shit. My parents were always or my dad was always you need to be the bigger person. Don't stoop to her level. And I never understood what that meant because I was I'm a fucking child. What do you mean be the bigger person? My mom is the bigger person horizontally, vertically, and in general. She's over 40 years old and she sat here and absolutely fucked with me and fucked with my head when I was growing up and it sucked. And being told to be the bigger person when you finally have kind of the ground to stand on really sucks. And now that I've grown up and I've realized that being the bigger person is one of the best things in your life because you get to sit there and you get to know that no matter what they say about you, you know in your head and your heart that you are not in the wrong. That you didn't sit there and you didn't hate on them and you didn't sit there and you didn't fucking just be a piece of shit person. I can be a piece of shit person in all the other aspects of my life, but when it comes to the relationship I have with my mother, I'm not that piece of shit, you know? And so I wrote this out. I've been writing it for a while now. I've been thinking about this. I just talked with my roommate Kaylin about it extensively and about kind of the repercussions because when I tend to get hooked onto something and doing something, I kind of expect a response and I kind of expect some kind of whiplash underneath something like that. Um, And she was honest with me. She's like, I don't want you to hold on to that, and I don't want you to spiral if there is a response and it's not what you're expecting, or if there is a response and it tears you down. And I realize that, but I feel like I'm kind of at a standstill with my relationship with, God, and just my relationship with other people, and a relationship with that side of the family that I'm less like, I just need to forgive. I need to have it come off my chest. I need to have it stop being baggage. Like I need to just let it go. So with that, it is late. It is 10:48 p.m. I have to be at work by 6:30. Yikes. Um, but here's what I wrote, and we're gonna send this email together because I just feel the need to do it. If that makes sense. Realistically, I should have had the email drafted and already written in before I start recording, but we're here, we're living in the present. There's another better time than to do this now. But here we go. This is how it starts. No intro, no dear, no nothing. Just, I'm writing this because I need closure, not because I need you. I'm not here to ask for anything or pretend the past didn't happen. I'm here because I found God, and He's the one teaching me how to let go of the things that broke me. Forgiveness isn't easy, and honestly, you're the hardest one for me to forgive, but I'm choosing to do it anyway. I forgive you. I forgive you even though you never apologized, even though you never tried to understand the damage you caused, even though you built a version of me in your head, a villain, and handed that same version to my siblings, letting them grow up thinking I was the ungrateful one, the problem, the disappointment. I know the things you've told them. I know the way you've painted me into the story you needed to believe. It hurt more than you'll ever admit, more than you'll ever know. Yeah, and yes, there's anger here. Anger because I was a kid trying to survive things you should have protected me from. Anger because you rewrote history to make yourself feel better. Anger because I spent so long wondering what the fuck was wrong with me, when the truth is, I never should have carried your mistakes on my back. But here's the difference now. I don't want to carry in any of it anymore. Yikes, can I speak? God has been the one steady thing in my life. The one thing that's given me peace, direction, and strength when nothing else made sense. And through him, I'm learning to let go of the bitterness, the blame, and the version of myself you created. I forgive you, Mom. Not because you earned it, but because I needed the freedom that comes with letting go. I hope that one day my siblings can see me for who I really am, not the villain you made me out to be. And maybe, someday, they'll forgive me the way I'm forgiving you right now. You may never understand any of this. You may never acknowledge it. But this is me choosing to move forward. Choosing peace over pain. Choosing God over anger. That feels like such a breakup text. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I'm breaking up with a toxic ex, which realistically I kind of am. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But, yikes. I don't even know what to say at this point. It's like, I think I'm giddy. I think I'm scared. I am terrified out of my mind to see what the reaction was. And I talked to Kaylin, my roommate, about it, and I said if there is a response and I see it in my emails, because I check my emails religiously. Being somebody that is in charge of a kitchen, I check my emails religiously, and I am constantly looking for promotional emails and just emails from like random ass email addresses because like Welch's director and like salesman for my area has like a really weird email. So I have to constantly look out for like random emails. But if I see a response to this email, I will be handing my phone to my roommate, being like, can you look at this for me? And can you take a photo of it? And then just delete it. Because at this point, I don't need the reaction. I don't need anything else in my life from her. I don't need to sit here and I don't need to hear her apologize or for her to sit here and blame me more. Like I don't need that in my life. And it's like the first time that I've been able to be like, I don't fucking need you. Like you're my mom, but you are the least mommy pause. You're the least momming mom possible. You are a mom by definition, but you are not a mom in any other aspect. So, if that makes sense. um, but yeah, like I just feel like this was needed in my life. I feel like this is needed for me to continue to step forward because, like I said, I've been having a lot of mental health issues lately, and I've been sitting here thinking I'm not good enough. And I think one of those things in my head that thinks I'm not good enough is because I was never able to hold a relationship with my mom. And that wasn't my fault. That was not my fault. That was not my siblings' fault. That was not anyone's fault but my mom's. And realizing all that and realizing all the things she put me through really made me have self-esteem issues and have just issues in general. Like I fuck. I actually showed a coworker a photo of her today. Because he was hitting on my friend's mom and or my other coworker's mom. And I was like, wait, let me see. So I pulled up ye old grade Facebook and I showed him. And he had told me, he's like, you guys look really similar. I was like, no. I was not having it at all. So I think that's another reason why I feel the need to do it today. I also feel the need to let it go today because it's right before the end of the year. And I don't feel like fucking dealing with this shit next year. You know, like it's like the journal. Like I started a month early to allow myself to have the head start to be able to actually have something to grapple onto when the new year actually hits. You know, and I think this is one of those things that I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, let me just fucking get this over with. Like, let me just get this shit over with. Like, why am I holding on to something that will never fucking matter at the end of the day? Like, you know. So, I'm going to copy and paste this. Control A, Control C. My bad. You have to hear my really loud keyboard and my really loud mouse because when I bought this PC and everything, I thought it was super cool to have a really loud thing. But we are sending it to her. No subject. Control paste. Um. Yeah, I think this is okay. I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm starting to get a little upset. My eyes are starting to water because this is a huge thing for me, honestly. And I've said that I've been over it before, but this is one of the first times where I've been truly like, I'm actually over this shit. So I'm gonna read it again real quick, get a little depth, you know, scrounge a little bit. But this is exactly what I'm saying. I might change a few wordings real quick, but here we go. I'm writing this because I need closure, not because I need you. I'm not here to ask for anything or to pretend the past didn't happen. I'm here because I found God, and He's the one teaching me how to let things go that broke me. Forgiveness isn't easy, and honestly, you're the hardest one for me to forgive. But I am choosing to do it anyway. I forgive you. I forgive you even though you never apologized, even though you never tried to understand the damage you caused, even though you built a version of me in your head, a villain, and handed that version to my siblings. Letting them grow up thinking I was the ungrateful one, the problem, and the disappointment. I know the things you told them. I know the way you've painted me into a story you needed to believe. It hurt. More than you'll ever admit. More than you'll ever know. And yes, there's anger there. Anger because I was a kid trying to survive things you should have protected me from. Anger because you rewrote history to make yourself feel better. Anger because because I spent so long wondering what was wrong with me. When the truth is, I should have never carried your mistakes on my back. But here's the difference now. I'm not carrying any of it anymore. That feels a little cringy. That's that ex breakup text right there. God has been the only steady thing in my life. The one thing that's given me peace, direction, and strength when nothing else made sense. And through Him, I'm letting you let go of the bitterness, the blame, and the version of myself you created. I forgive you, Mom. Not because you earned it, but because of the freedom that comes with letting go. I hope that one day your siblings can see me for who I really am, not the villain you made me out to be, and maybe someday they'll forgive the way I'm forgiving you right now. You may never understand this, you may never acknowledge it, but this is me moving forward, choosing peace over pain. I'm going to delete the last little bit because it's a little too cringy for me, but that's where we're going with. I'm going to say fuck it. Her name's in it. I could CC somebody, I'm not going to. Because I don't think I need to, because I think it's okay. I think it's okay to go with this. This is not written to the best of the ability. A sentence starts with and, but there is grammar and there's punctuation. And it makes sense, you know? But like I said, it is 10:58 p.m. on December 6th. This will not come out till way later. Um Let me delete the first two lines so it doesn't look like I copy and pasted it, because that's embarrassing. Like I said, no subject. I'm just kind of sitting here for a second because I need a second to realize that I'm actually doing this and that I'm actually going to go through with it, because I've thought about doing this many times. But yeah, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. It was sent. I just sent it, which means in the time zone that she's in, it's 8 p.m., which means she'll probably see it pretty damn quick. But yeah, I kind of stumbled upon this idea, not really an idea for the podcast, but for me to actually write it out and actually think it rather than just thinking it in my brain, because I needed to know it, or thinking it in my heart. I needed to know it in my brain. You know, people are like, you need to think with your head, not your heart. But in my head, I know that or in my heart, I know I've forgiven her, and I know that I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with her thinking she's a better one and whatnot. But in my brain, I'm like, I never told her that. So like, let me be the right person. You know, like, I need to know that she is aware of it and that she is getting it. Excuse me. Like I said, it's late at night and I need to go to bed. But I kind of stumbled upon this, writing it all out, because I stumbled upon something else, when I was struggling with this a lot. It's called Mom Experiences. I wrote this back April 17th, 2023, nearly 3 years ago. And I don't remember what I wrote this for. I think I wrote this for school. It's not complete at all. But it says, I never knew what I did to deserve it. But my mother always seemed angry with me. She would yell at me for anything and everything, even the smallest mistakes. As I got older, the abuse only got worse. My mom would call me names, put me down, telling me I was worthless and that I never amount to anything. And I started to believe her. And the mental abuse was the worst. I would try to avoid her, but it seemed like no matter what I did, she would always find something to criticize me for. I started to feel like I was walking on eggshells around her, always afraid of setting her off. I began to shush my siblings whenever they came near. It became a sixth sense. I could tell whenever she was angry with her footsteps. There's something when I would grab my sister's mouth. Oh, there's sometimes when I'd grab my sister's mouth to shut her up, so we wouldn't make her angry. This is I used to be super religious during this part. I continue saying, I would pray every night, asking the God I believed in if I was meant to be on earth, that I was meant to be born. But it just continues to go on saying that, like, my mother started to isolate me from my friends and my family members, just saying that I was a terrible child and I was like an inconvenience. Um, and then I start to talk about how I struggle with low self-esteem and anxiety, which, I mean, I do. Like, and that's another thing that I've had to really come to terms with, is that, like, I struggle with self-esteem badly. And same with anxiety. Like, one of the best things about moving so fucking far away from where I know she's at is that I can walk into my local Walmart and not be scared I'm gonna run into her. And that was something that I was always scared of. I was always looking over my shoulder. I was always super aware, and I still carry a lot of that awareness. One of my friends actually pointed it out the other day, and he's like, I don't want you to think this is a bad thing, because I'd heard the tram going off when we were standing outside of Insomnia Cookies. Because my fat ass needed a cookie. But he's like, you're always aware of what's going on. Like, he's like, it's like you're in the army. You're just like always like super aware. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, honestly, like, I think it's just a good thing to be aware in general. But the awareness that I have, like I said, excuse me, is very much like a sixth sense. It's like a very, it's like I can, I can tell if somebody's angry by the way they walk, like, and it's, if somebody's walking towards me, my head snaps up immediately because I'm trying to read how they are as they approach me, so I know how to go about the conversation, the situation. And that's just something that I've, like, had to come to terms with. And it's something I didn't realize that I do so much until I moved away and I went to Walmart and I, like, felt at peace. And I still do. And I'm actually planning to, I'm not planning, I am going back home for a time in December. I mean, well, I'm filming this in December, but pretty much Christmas. I'm not going to say what dates I'm going to be in town or anything because that's a little too personal. But yeah, I will be in town for some part of the month of December, and potentially January. Um, but yeah, I'm like, if I go to a store, if I go in public, I know I'm gonna have to be like watching, and that's kind of terrifying. Honestly, like, I'm like, I really don't want to have to deal with that, and because it sucks. It sucks having to be aware and having to realize that things could happen like that. I'm like, because I know if I come into contact with that. I'm so sorry. I'm yawning so much. I'm so very sorry. I'm gonna cut this short. But I know if I come into contact, it won't be pretty. And I don't know if it's gonna be not pretty in the sense that I have so much to say to her that I won't say anything at all, or I'm just gonna start saying so much, and I'm just gonna, like, attack, like. And I don't know what I would want, honestly, because I just, like, you know, yeah. It sent. Yikes. Okay. Now that it's sent, now that I have talked about it and I feel a little bit more at peace, I have a lot of anxiety about a potential response. I have a lot of anxiety about a non potential response. Like I said, I have talked to my roommate about how I plan on dealing with it. But yeah. I told myself I was going to cut this short and then I yawned again within like 30 seconds. But yeah. I feel a little bit lighter because I'm like, I poked the bear, but I'm no longer the bee, if that makes sense. I'm no longer gonna be upset and just like attack again. And that feels really good, you know? Anyways, um yeah, this will probably come out in sometime this month because season 4 starts at the beginning of January. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Um Really big step today. Really big step in my journey forward and continuing to walk forward in all aspects of my life and coming to terms with things and just trying to be a better person and trying to heal in general. So, yeah. Anyways, tell someone you're grateful for them. Tell them you love them. Be grateful yourself. Tell yourself you love them, or tell yourself you love yourself. Words, actions. Just tell somebody you're grateful for them. Find something. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope to catch you